Some famous men think it is a good idea to have too many kids, and if they are religious they think of it as God's blessings. Even the Bible is very pro about having as many kids as possible. No wonder a lot of religious folks have too many kids. Here we make a list of famous men who had more than 10 kids. Before moving forward, don't forget to press the subscribe button. Now back to the list. Number 1. Eddie Murphy. The Hollywood legend had 2 sons in quick succession around the end of the 1980s. Erik with then-girlfriend Paulette McNeely, and Christian with then-girlfriend Tamara Hood. He had 5 kids with his wife Nicole Mitchell, who he was married to from 1993 to 2006. After his divorce he began dating former Spice Girl Melanie Brown, who became pregnant and claimed the child was Murphy's. When questioned about the pregnancy in December 2006 by RTL Boulevard, Murphy told, "I don't know whose child that is until it comes out and has a blood test. You shouldn't jump to conclusions, sir." Brown gave birth to a baby girl, Angel Iris Murphy Brown, on Murphy's 46th birthday, April 3, 2007. On June 22, 2007, representatives for Brown announced that a DNA test had confirmed Murphy was the father. Brown had stated in an interview that Murphy has not sought a relationship with Angel, although it was later reported in 2010 that Murphy was getting to know her. In May 2016, Murphy had a daughter by Australian model Paige Butcher, whom he had been dating since 2012. Murphy and Butcher are also parents of a son born in November 2018. That brings the tally to 10 for now. Number 2. H. Asquith. Herbert Henry Asquith was the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from 1908 to 1916, who had 10 kids with his 2 wives. He had 5 kids with his first wife Helen Kelsall Mellon, who he was married to from 1877 to 1891. Helen died of typhoid fever in 1891. He had 5 more kids with his second wife Margot Asquith, who he was married to from 1894 to his death in 1928. Only 2 of their 5 kids survived infancy. Actress Helena Bonham Carter is the great-granddaughter of Asquith. Number 3. Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson is the patriarch of one of America's musical dynasty, the Jackson family. Joe fathered 11 kids with 2 women. He had 10 kids with his second wife Catherine Screws, who he was married to from 1949 to his death in 2018. Their first kid Maureen was born in 1950, and their last kid Janet was born in 1966. Their most famous child Michael was their 8th, born in 1958. While married to Catherine, he had a 25-year-long extramarital affair with Cheryl Terrell, with whom he had a daughter named Giovanni in 1974. Catherine attempted to divorce Joe owing to the affair, but both times she was persuaded against it. Number 4. Charlie Chaplin. The screen legend had 11 kids with 3 women. In 1918, when he was 29, he was married for the first time to 16-year-old actress Mildred Harris after she revealed that she was pregnant with his child. The marriage was kept discreet to avoid controversy. Soon after, the pregnancy was found to be false. She later became pregnant and on July 7, 1919, gave birth to a son, Norman Spencer Chaplin, who was born malformed and died 3 days later. This loss of child influenced his next film, The Kid. While making The Gold Rush, Chaplin married for the second time in circumstances which mirrored his first marriage. This time teenage actress Lita Gray announced that she was pregnant with his baby. She was 16, and he was 35, which meant Chaplin could have been charged with statutory rape under California law. So he arranged a secret marriage in Mexico on November 25, 1924, to avoid a scandal. Their first son, Charles Spencer Chaplin III, was born on May 5, 1925, followed by Sidney Earl Chaplin on March 30, 1926. Chaplin married for the 4th and final time on June 16, 1943, to Una O'Neill, the daughter of American playwright Eugene O'Neill. The marriage took place a month after she turned 18. The couple remained married until Chaplin's death, and had 8 children over 18 years. Their first child Geraldine Lee was born in 1944, and their last child Christopher James was born in 1962, when Chaplin was 73. Number 5. Robert F. Kennedy. Robert F. Kennedy had 11 children over nearly 18 years of marriage with his wife Ethel Skakel. Their first child Kathleen was born in 1951, and their last child Rory was born in 1968, 6 months after his assassination. Number 6. Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando was father to at least 11 children, 3 of whom were adopted. He had his first baby son Christian with his first wife Anna Koshfi in 1958. He had 2 kids with his second wife Movita Castaneda, Miko Castaneda born in 1961 and Rebecca born in 1966. He had 2 children with his third wife Tarita Tarapea, Simon Taihoda born in 1963 and Tarita Cheyenne born in 1970. He also adopted Tarapea's daughter Maimatai, who was born in 1977, 5 years after their divorce. He also adopted 2 of Tarapea's nieces, a decade after their split. All 3 adopted kids were excluded from his will after his death in 2004. Brando went on to have 3 children with his housekeeper Maria Cristina Ruiz, with whom he had a long-term relationship. Nina Priscilla born in 1989, Miles Jonathan Brando born in 1992, and Timothy Gahan born in 1994. He also adopted the daughter of his assistant Caroline Barrett. Number 7. Dick Gregory. Legendary comedian Dick Gregory had 11 kids with his wife Lillian Smith, who he was married to from 1959 until his death in 2017. One of his sons died 2 months after birth. When asked about fatherhood in a 2000 interview with the Boston Globe, Gregory was quoted as saying, "People ask me about being a father and not being there. I say Jack the Ripper had a father. Hitler had a father. Don't talk to me about family." Number 8. Eazy-E. Eazy-E, one of the founders of the rap group NWA, had 11 kids with 8 women. His first son is Eric Darnell born in 1984, who is also known as Lil Eazy. His oldest daughter Erica is born in 1986. He had a daughter Erin Bria with Tracy Jernigan in July 1991. He had 2 kids with his wife Tomika Woods, son Dominic in September 1991 and daughter Deja, who was born 6 months after Eazy-E's death. He also had a daughter Henry Sharon with Kelly Faltersack Robinson in April 1993. His other kids include Marquise, Derek also known as Baby Eazy, Raven, David and Elijah, about whom not a whole lot is known. Eazy died of AIDS in March 1995 at age 30. Number 9. Evander Holyfield. The boxing legend has fathered 11 kids with 6 different women. One of his sons, Evan, followed in his footsteps and became a professional boxer. Another son, Elijah, plays football for the Cincinnati Bengals. He has another son also named Elijah. His daughter, Bonnie Shield, is a fashion content creator. Number 10. Roberto Carlos. Soccer legend Roberto Carlos has 11 children with 7 different women. In October 2017, at age 43, he became a grandfather when his daughter Giovanna gave birth to a son. That same year, he had a second child with his wife Mariana Lucon. The man is still making babies when his kids are making their own babies. Number 11. Elon Musk. Elon Musk has fathered 11 children with 3 different women. He had 6 kids with his first wife Justine Wilson, which includes twins in 2004 and triplets in 2006. Their first child, a son born in 2002, died of sudden infant death syndrome at the age of 10 weeks. He had 3 kids with musician Grimes, who was his partner from 2018 to 2022. Elon also shares twins with Shervon Zeles, who is an executive at Neuralink. The twins were born via in vitro fertilization in November 2021. Musk has tweeted in the past that having children is saving the world. Number 12. Isaac Hayes. Isaac Hayes has fathered 12 children. Details about his kids are not well known. He had 3 children with his second wife Emily Ruth Watson, who he was married to from 1965 to 1972. He had 2 kids with his third wife Mignon Harley, who he was married to from 1973 to 1986. He had a son with his fourth wife Ajoa. Hayes' eldest daughter is named Jackie, who is named co-executor of his estate. He also had 1 son to whom he gave his name Isaac Hayes III, who is a rap producer. Hayes also had a daughter named Heather. Number 13. Anthony Quinn. Anthony Quinn has fathered 12 kids with 4 different women. He had 5 kids with his first wife Catherine DeMille, who he was married to from 1937 to 1965. He had 3 kids with his second wife, Italian costume designer Yolanda Adalori, who he was married to from 1966 to 1997. While married to his second wife, he had 2 kids with Friedel Dunbar, an event producer in Los Angeles, in the 1970s. In the 1990s, Quinn had 2 children with his secretary Catherine Bin-In, who was 48 years his junior. He divorced his second wife Ada Lori in August 1997 and married Bin-In in December 1997 and remained married to her until his death. Number 14. Philip Michael Thomas. Philip Michael Thomas has 6 daughters, 1 stepdaughter, and 5 sons from 5 different relationships. He had his first daughter with his first wife Pat Thomas. He then got into a relationship with actress Sheila DeWint, who bore him 2 daughters, Melody and India. He had a daughter Krishna with Maria Ross. He had daughter Cheyenne and son Gabriel with Dima Matthews. His second wife Cassandra Thomas bore him a daughter, Imaj, and 4 sons, Noble, Sacred, Sovereign, and Charisma. The actor also has a stepdaughter, Monica. Number 15. Duane Chapman. The bounty hunter has been married 6 times and has 12 biological children and 1 adopted child. He welcomed his first child, Christopher Michael Hecht, with his then-girlfriend Debbie White in 1972. Chapman's first marriage was to LaFonda Sue Darnell, by whom he has 2 children, Dwayne Lee Chapman II and Leland Blaine Chapman. His second marriage was to Integnal, with whom he has 3 children, Zebediah Chapman, Wesley Chapman, and James Robert Chapman. Zebediah died as an infant. His third marriage was to Lissa Ray Britton, with whom he had 3 children, Barbara Katie Chapman, Tucker D. Chapman, and Lissa Ray Chapman. Barbara Katie died in a car accident in 2006 at age 24. Duane had 2 kids with his 5th wife Alice Elizabeth Barmore, Bonnie Joanne Chapman, and Gary Chapman. He also adopted Alice's daughter from her previous marriage, Cecily Barmore Chapman. In June 2022, Chapman revealed in an Instagram post that he recently discovered he has another son, John. Number 16. Ramzan Kadyrov. Ramzan Kadyrov, the head of Chechen Republic, has fathered 12 children with his wife Medni Muzevna Kadyrova, who he is married to since 1996. Kadyrov comes from a conservative Muslim family, and there are usually lots of kids in such families. Number 17. Erik Prince. Erik Prince, the very private and controversial founder of the private military company Blackwater, has fathered 12 kids with his 3 wives. He had 4 kids with his first wife Joan Nicole, who died of cancer in 2003 at age 36. He had 3 kids with his second wife Joanna Ruth Hauk. Prince began an affair with Joanna, while his first wife Joan was dying. He had 5 kids with his third wife Stacy DeLuke, who was a former Blackwater spokesperson. Erik is a devout Catholic, having undergone a conversion in 1992. This might have something to do with the number of children he has. Number 18. Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon has 12 kids with 6 different women. He had fraternal twins with his wife Mariah Carey in 2008. He has 3 children with model Brittany Bell. He had 2 kids with model Alyssa Scott. One of them, a son, died of brain cancer at 5 months old. He had twin sons with Abby De La Rosa. Model and real estate agent Brie Tiesi gave birth to their son in June 2022. Model Anisha Cole also gave birth to their daughter in September 2022. Number 19. Leonhard Euler. Leonhard Euler had 13 kids with his first wife Katerina Giselle, who he was married to from 1734 to her death in 1773. Only 5 of his children, 3 sons and 2 daughters, survived into adulthood. Number 20. Fred Phelps. The controversial preacher of the Westboro Baptist Church had 13 kids with his wife Margie Sims, who he was married to from 1952 to his death in 2014. His 6th son Nathan Phelps, who is estranged from Fred, has claimed his father was abusive and that he never had a relationship with him when he was growing up. Number 21. Bob Marley. The official Bob Marley website acknowledges 11 children. He had 3 kids with his wife Rita Marley, who he was married to from 1966 to his death in 1981. He also adopted 2 kids from Rita's previous relationships. Additionally, he had a kid each with Pat Williams, Janet Hunt, with whom he had Rohan Marley, Janet Bowen, Lucy Pounder, Anita Belnavis, and Miss World 1976 Cindy Breakspear, with whom he had Damian Marley. Other websites note that he had a child with Yvette Crichton, which was born after Marley's death, and a child with Cheryl Murray, born in 1963. Number 22. Leo Tolstoy. Leo Tolstoy had 13 kids with his wife Sophia Bayers, who he was married to from 1862 to his death in 1910. His wife was pregnant 16 times. 3 of her pregnancies ended in miscarriages. Only 8 of his 14 kids survived childhood. 23. Garrincha. The Brazilian soccer legend is believed to have fathered at least 14 children. He had 8 of those 14 kids with his first wife Nair Marquez, who he was married to from 1952 to 1965. He also had a son Manuel with singer Elza Soares in 1976. Number 24. H.L. Hunt. H.L. Hunt was an oil tycoon from Texas who at one time was the richest man in the world. He is also suspected to be involved in the assassination of President Kennedy. He also served as inspiration behind the character J.R. Ewing from the television show Dallas. Hunt had 15 children by 3 wives. He had 7 kids with his first wife Lyda Bunker, who he was married to from 1914 to her death in 1955. Hunt is said to have married Frania Tai in 1925, while still married to Lyda using the name Franklin Hunt. He had 4 kids with Frania. Frania supposedly discovered the bigamous nature of her marriage in 1934. Scared that he would be exposed as a bigamist, he made Frania sign a document stipulating that they were never married. In return, he created trust funds for each of their 4 kids. After breaking up with Frania, he met an attractive 25-year-old legal secretary named Ruth Ray. He had 4 children by her between the years 1943 to 1950. He eventually married her in 1957 after the death of his first wife Lyda. His youngest son Ray Lee, who he had with Ruth in 1943, ultimately inherited his business. Number 25. David Koresh. David Koresh was the leader of the Branch Davidians cult. He fathered at least 16 kids with various followers of the cult. Some of the girls who had babies fathered by him were as young as 12 years old, which made him liable for child abuse. This was revealed in a series of articles titled The Sinful Messiah by Mark England and Darlene McCormick, published in the Waco Tribune-Herald on February 27, 1993. Koresh and his followers were also suspected of stockpiling illegal weapons. ATF raided the Branch Davidian compound the next day to investigate claims of child abuse and illegal stockpiling of arms. David Koresh refused to cooperate with the authorities, and a gun battle ensued, resulting in the death of 4 ATF agents and 6 Branch Davidians. A siege was initiated by FBI which lasted for 51 days and resulted in the deaths of 76 Branch Davidians, including 25 children and David Koresh himself. 12 of David's 16 kids died in the siege. Number 26. Sun Myung Moon. Sun Myung Moon was a Korean religious leader who was the founder of the Unification Church. He had a child with his first wife, who he was married to from 1944 to 1957. Moon was arrested by the Soviet-controlled North Korean government in 1946. Sources claim that the motivation behind the arrest included unorthodox sexual rituals with multiple women, amongst other charges. A claim which the church denies to this day. He founded the Unification Church in 1954. That same year he fathered a child, which died in 1969. He had 14 children with his second wife Johann, who he was married to from 1960 to his death in 2012. Moon and Han are known as true father and true mother within the movement, and collectively as true parents. Their children are known as the true children. Since Moon's death in 2012, his wife Han has assumed the leadership of the church. Number 27. DMX. DMX was the father of 17 children from 11 different women. He had 4 kids with his wife Tashra Simmons. They were high school sweethearts who were married from 1999 to 2010. He had a daughter Sasha with Patricia Trejo in 2002 as a result of extramarital affair while married to Tashra. Monique Wayne, a Maryland resident, fought over her claim that he was the father of her son born in 2004. A genetic testing proved that DMX was the father in January 2008. Davida Odin, a former model from Buffalo, New York, filed a paternity petition in May 2005, claiming he was the father of her daughter. DNA results showed that he was the father. He also had a daughter, Sonova Hillman Jr., with Sonova Hillman Sr. in 2005. He had a daughter, Aaliyah Taraji Michelle Walton Simmons, with Shakoya Hartley in 2011. DMX also fathered a son and a daughter with Cuban model Yadira Borrego, who he was in relationship for 9 years. DMX's 15th child was born to his fiancée Desiree Lindstrom on August 16, 2016. On December 5, 2019, his 16th and 17th children, twin boys, were born to Pebbles Juneau. Number 28. Jim Bob Duggar. James Robert Duggar, who appeared on the reality series 19 Kids and Counting, which aired from 2008 to 2015, had 19 kids, which included 2 sets of twins, with his wife Michelle Ruark, who he is married to from 1984. The couple have 9 daughters and 10 sons, all of whose names begin with the letter J. They had their first baby in 1988, and last one in 2009. This means Michelle gave birth 17 times, over a period of 21.5 years, which means she gave birth approximately every 15 months. Number 29. Johann Sebastian Bach. The German composer fathered 20 children with 2 wives. He had 7 kids with his first wife Maria Barbara, who he was married to from 1707 to her death in 1720. Only 4 of 7 kids he had with his first wife, who was his second cousin, survived into adulthood. He had 13 children with his second wife Anna Magdalena, who he was married to from 1721 to his death in 1750. Only 6 of the 13 kids he had with his second wife survived into adulthood. His first child was born when Bach was 23 in 1708, and the last was born in 1742, when he was 57. Number 30. Solomon Burke. Solomon Burke was married 4 times and fathered 21 children, 14 daughters and 7 sons. At the time of his death, he had 7 stepchildren, 90 grandchildren, and 19 great-grandchildren. He had most of his children with his second wife Dolores Clark, which is 7. In a 2006 interview, Burke admitted having his first child at age 14. Being a father at age 14 may be been a little early, but I don't regret one moment, 1 second, 1 day, or 1 hour. Number 31. Mohammed bin Laden. Mohammed bin Laden was the Saudi billionaire construction magnate who is the father of Osama bin Laden. Though there is no definitive account of the number of children born to him, it is generally put at 58. He was married 22 times, although to no more than 4 women at a time per Sharia. Osama was the only son of Mohammed bin Laden and his 10th wife, Hamida al-Adas. He died in a plane crash in 1967. According to Carmen bin Laden, Muhammad was planning to wed a 23rd wife the night he died, and was heading there when his plane crashed. His eldest son Salem bin Laden took over the family business. Number 32. Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden fathered 20 to 24 children with his wives. He is reported to have married at least 5 women, although he later divorced the first 2. According to Waisal al-Turabi, bin Laden married last 3 of his wives because they were spinsters who were going to go without marrying in this world. So he married them for the word of God. He had at least 11 children with his first wife Najwa Ghanem. He had 3 children with his second wife Khadija Sharif, who he married in 1983 and divorced somewhere in 1990s. He had only 1 child, a son with his third wife Kyraya Saber. She was reportedly his favorite wife, and the most mature, being 7 years his senior. He had 4 children with his 4th wife Siham Sabar. He had 5 children with his 5th and youngest wife Amal Ahmed al-Sada. Number 33. Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad, the head of Nation of Islam from 1933 to 1975, is estimated to have had 23 children, of whom 21 are documented. He had 8 children with his wife Clara Muhammad between 1917 to 1939. He also fathered at least 9 children from extramarital relationships. He had 3 girls with Lucille Rosary Karim Muhammad. He had a boy and a girl with June Muhammad. He had a girl with Evelyn Williams. He had 3 girls and a boy with Tanetta Muhammad. He also had a boy with Bernice Kushmir. Number 34. Joseph Kony. Joseph Kony is a Ugandan warlord who founded the Lord's Resistance Army, a Christian extremist organization who are designated as a terrorist group by the United Nations peacekeepers and the European Union. He is a proponent of polygamy and is thought to have had 60 wives and to have fathered at least 42 children as of 2006. Number 35. Warren Jeffs. Warren Jeffs is a religious cult leader who is the leader of a polygamous cult, the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It is believed that he had 87 wives and is believed to have fathered at least 60 children, though the precise number is not known. He is presently serving a life sentence for 2 felony counts of child sexual assault. Number 36. Jean Bedel Bokassa. Jean Bedel Bokassa was the military dictator of Central African Republic from 1966 to 1979. He had 17 wives, one of whom was Marie Rain Hassan, and a reported 50 children. He also adopted several children, one of whom was born in Vietnam as Martine Nguyen Thi Bai and became Martine Bokassa upon her adoption. Catherine Ding Wyatt was one of his wives who became the empress when Bokassa created the Central African Empire in 1976, which was overthrown 3 years later by French and Central African forces. Number 37. Screamin' Jay Hawkins. Screamin' Jay Hawkins has claimed variously to have 57 to 75 children in total, which makes him the most prolific procreator among celebrities. He was married 6 times. Not a single children of his attended his funeral. After his death, his friend and biographer Meryl Nagolian set up a website jayskids.com to trace his children, which identified 33 kids, of whom at least 12 met at a 2001 reunion. Number 38. Ibn Saud. Ibn Saud, the founder and first king of Saudi Arabia, was the father of almost 100 children, which included 45 sons. 36 of his 45 sons survived to adulthood. He is thought to have had 22 wives. He also had many daughters. He was succeeded by his second son Prince Saud to the throne after his death. All the subsequent kings of Saudi Arabia as of 2024 are his sons. Number 39. King Saud. King Saud had a total of 108 children with his 30 wives. Only 6 of his children graduated from high school, which is why only a few of Saud's kids have public roles in the kingdom. He abdicated his throne in 1964 and was succeeded by his brother Prince Faisal. That is it. Thank you for visiting this channel. Please press like and share on this video. And don't forget to subscribe this channel. Until next time.